Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is chemist session. Here we are discussing about the chapter air and its constituents. In this session, we are going to say about some of the constituents of air like carbon dioxide and water vapor. In the earlier session, we have seen some of the constituents like nitrogen and oxygen. Here we are going to continue with the remaining here. Okay. Already about the carbon dioxide, we have learned some things like how much amount of carbon dioxide is available in the atmosphere and some other concepts you have seen. Now here we are going to see the general preparations of carbon dioxide. How to prepare this carbon dioxide in the laboratory, let us see here. By the combustion, this is a major method by which carbon dioxide is being prepared in the atmosphere and even in the by the human activities. Carbon dioxide is formed when carbon in any form or a hydrocarbon is burned in excess air. Then carbon dioxide is produced. So by the burning of fuels, to say simply, when fuels are undergone combustion, they produce carbon dioxide. We know almost all the fuels they contain carbon in them, either in the pure form or in the hydrocarbons form. For example, if you take coal or charcoal, these contain mainly carbon. This on burning in the presence of excess of oxygen or air that will form carbon dioxide like this. So this is the reaction regarding that. If coal is burnt, that will produce carbon dioxide. Actually, sorry, it is to be oxygen O2. When carbon burns in the presence of oxygen, it produces carbon dioxide, isn't it? So, the direct pure forms of carbon like coal on combustion produces carbon dioxide. Not only those, some other fuels like petroleum products like petrol, diesel, kerosene, these are composite of hydrocarbons. We know what are hydrocarbons. The compounds of hydrogen and carbon are called hydrocarbons. For example, petrol, diesel, kerosene, these all are hydrocarbons. So when these are burnt in the presence of oxygen, they produce carbon dioxide and water vapor also. So by these processes, by the combustion of any fuel, the major product formed will be carbon dioxide. If it is pure carbon, only carbon dioxide is formed by the combustion. If it is any form of hydrocarbon, then along with the carbon dioxide, water vapor is also produced as product. Okay, in this way, carbon dioxide is produced by the combustion process. And even by heating metal carbonates or by metal bicarbonates also, carbon dioxide is produced. So carbon dioxide is produced when some metal carbonates and bicarbonates are heated. If you see an equation which is representing the heating of calcium carbonate, which is a example for metal carbonates. We know limestone it is called, isn't it? Calcium carbonate is commonly called limestone. So when we heat this calcium carbonate, it decomposes to form calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So by this, metal carbonate on heating giving carbon dioxide gas. Not only metal carbonates, even metal bicarbonates also they produce carbon dioxide. For example, if we say sodium hydrogen carbonate, which is also called sodium bicarbonate, this on heating gives metal carbonate, carbon dioxide and water vapor. So metal bicarbonates on heating gives carbon dioxide. In this way, metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates they produce carbon dioxide on decomposing. Okay, this is one of the methods for the production of carbon dioxide in the laboratory. One more method by the action of acids on carbonates or bicarbonates. Yes, these metal bicarbonates and bicarbonates on heating they decompose and produce carbon dioxide. That is one. Even these on reaction with the acids also they produce metal salts and carbon dioxide. Let us see an example marble chips or just now I have told limestone. Chemically it is calcium carbonate. CaCO3 formula. So when it is reacting with hydrochloric acid, that produce metal salt, that is calcium chloride, metal salt will be formed, and carbon dioxide water vapor also released from this. In this way, calcium carbonate not only on decomposition, even on reaction with the acids also, they produce carbon dioxide gas. So this is about metal carbonate. If you see metal bicarbonate, earlier we have seen sodium hydrogen carbonate, that is sodium bicarbonate it told. So this on reaction with one of the acids vinegar, that we say acetic acid. So this on reaction with this it forms a metal salt which is called sodium acetate. Along with that carbon dioxide and water vapor are formed. In this way also carbon dioxide is formed. So when metal carbonates and metal bicarbonates on reaction with the acids, they form metal salts, carbon dioxide and water vapor. Okay, this also you can say as one of the methods for the preparation of carbon dioxide in the laboratory, right? Now let us see the uses of this carbon dioxide. Is this carbon dioxide useful? Of course, yes. Air containing about 50%, 15% of carbon dioxide does not support combustion. So as this carbon dioxide is a non-supporter of combustion, if there is a much carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, that air won't support the combustion of fuels. That is why carbon dioxide is used for extinguishing of fire. Okay, for a fire extinguishing they use this carbon dioxide. That's why only, because this carbon dioxide is non-supporter of combustion as well as it is non-combustible gas also. That's the major advantage of carbon dioxide in using for extinguishing fire. Okay. Next, one more use. Carbon dioxide solidifies on cooling to around minus 79 degrees Celsius at the atmospheric pressure. This solid carbon dioxide so formed is called dry ice. Why it is called so dry ice means if you see this is solid carbon dioxide. See, it seems like ice cubes, isn't it? But it does not contain any water in it. It seems like ice, but having no water in that, that is why it is called dry ice. It is solid carbon dioxide. Solid carbon dioxide seems like ice, but it does not contain any water. Hence, this is called dry ice. And this dry ice is used in refrigeration and preservation of foodstuffs. Yes, as it is producing much cooling temperature, so it can be used for preservation of foodstuffs and in the refrigeration. And one more advantage in this usage of the solid carbon dioxide for the preservation of foodstuffs is it won't spoil the foodstuffs because it is carbon dioxide. It won't, it won't spoil the foodstuff. And if used not directly ice cubes for the preservation of food, as it contains water that may spoil certain kinds of foodstuffs. But dry ice, which is solid carbon dioxide, it makes the food items to be very cool, and not only that, it won't spoil that food item. That is the major advantage of this dry ice in usage for preservation of foodstuffs. Okay. Next, carbon dioxide is used in the preparation of aerated drinks. Aerated drinks means soft drinks and cool drinks like soda and dissolve. So what they do, they take the sugar syrup. To that, they add different flavors along with that dissolving carbon dioxide into that. So this carbon dioxide gives a particular taste to the soft drinks. So for example, if you see these all are aerated drinks, we say soft drinks. So these all contain dissolved carbon dioxide in them. Not only this, we often drink soda in summer, isn't it? That soda also contains dissolved carbon dioxide in that. This dissolved carbon dioxide gives sour taste to the soft drinks as well as soda. Okay, that's about usage of carbon dioxide. You might have seen soda carts. If you go and ask the soda, first they'll fill some water into one glass bottle and they keep this glass bottle in certain machine and they'll press it. Have you observed this? So that machine will be connected to a carbon dioxide gas cylinder which is kept at the bottom of the cart. You can observe that. So when they press the nozzle of that machine, carbon dioxide will come through the tubes and will dissolve into that water containing bottle at very high pressure. So in that way, soda is prepared. By the dissolution of this carbon dioxide, that soda will get a sour taste. Not only soda, even these all soft drinks also in the same way. To get that sour taste, they dissolve carbon dioxide in these soft drinks as well as soda. That's one of the important use of this. Okay, next. Liquid carbon dioxide is used in the sugar industry and in the destruction of insects. Yes, in the sugar industry, they use liquid carbon dioxide in the purification process. And not only for that, even in the destruction of insects also, they use this liquid carbon dioxide. One more important use of this carbon dioxide is in the respiration process. The mixture of 95% oxygen and 5% carbon dioxide is called carbogen, which is used to provide artificial respiration to the patients of pneumonia. So some people will be suffering with respiration problems. The people who are not able to respirate, breathe themselves, and who are in the unconscious state. Often we see in the televisions and these all, they'll be giving oxygen gas by giving certain pipes to their mouth, nose, isn't it? There, the oxygen gas supplied to them contains a small quantity of carbon dioxide gas also mixed in that. They won't give 100% pure oxygen gas because they may feel a little inconvenience in the breathing purpose, in the breathing process there, if it is completely oxygen. Not only that, a this carbon dioxide gas or nitrogen gas will be mixed with the pure oxygen in the respiration process, artificial respiration, to reduce the overactivity of oxygen with the body parts. So, to control the activity of oxygen, a small quantity of carbon dioxide gas is mixed into the oxygen gas, which is given to the artificial respiration process. That a mixture of 95% oxygen and 5% carbon dioxide is called carbogen. Okay, in that way it is used there. And one more, carbon dioxide is used in the process of photosynthesis by plants. This is well known to us. What is happening in the photosynthesis? Plants will absorb water from their roots and they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through their leaves. These two, carbon dioxide and water vapor, will be mixed in their leaves in the presence of chlorophyll and chlorophyll and sunlight. Then what happens? These two will combine and they produce carbon dioxide in the form of glucose. In that way, they prepare their food with carbon dioxide and water vapor. That's one of the very important use of carbon dioxide in this nature. This carbon dioxide is very important for the photosynthesis process in all plants. They prepare their food by using this carbon dioxide only. Of course, they release oxygen out, which is used by animals and human beings. Okay, their carbon dioxide is very important for the plants in the preparation of their food. Right, these are the uses of carbon dioxide. So now let us say we told as this carbon dioxide gas is a non-supporter of combustion and it is a non-combustible gas. Because of this reason, carbon dioxide gas is used in the fire extinguishers. A fire extinguisher contains concentrated solution of sodium bicarbonate and a bottle containing concentrated solution of sulfuric acid filled with a loose lead stopper. Yes, actually, this you might have seen this container, these cylinders in your schools, in hospitals, in cinema theaters. Often you might have observed these hanging to the walls. This is called fire extinguisher. This will be used when fire accidents are occurring. To stop the fires, they use this. Actually, it seems like a single cylinder, but inside there will be one more container like this, which is containing some acid in that, like sulfuric acid. And here, some base will be there, namely, they have mentioned here. sodium bicarbonate. Okay, sodium bicarbonate base will be there and sulfuric acid. These two will be there inside of this in two different containers. Here, this will be separated with a certain nozzle. Now, when the apparatus is turned upside down, the acid flows out of the bottle and produces carbon dioxide. We know this bicarbonate reacts with the acid. They produce carbon dioxide. In the preparation methods we have seen just now, isn't it? When metal bicarbonate reacts with the acid, produces metal salt and carbon dioxide water vapor. Now, when we press this nozzle here, when you press this, these two will be mixed here at the nozzle. So acid and base will be reacted here so that they form carbon dioxide gas, which will be evolved through this pipe out. So they will expose this to the fire causing objects. Immediately that fire will be put off. In this way, this carbon dioxide gas is used in the fire extinguishing. The major important point here as carbon dioxide is used as fire extinguisher is it is non-combustible gas as well as it is non-supporter of combustion. Right? Next, water vapor. Another component or constituent of atmospheric air is water vapor. The presence of water vapor in air can be shown by placing a tumbler full of ice on the table. You will see the water drops condense on its surface, outer surface, isn't it? This experiment which you have seen in the earlier classes also once. If you take a glass of ice cubes, if you keep ice cubes in a glass and if you keep this outside on the table, after a few minutes if you observe, there will be some droplets of water on the surface of this glass, isn't it? So from where these water droplets are coming, is water leaking from the glass from inside to outside? No, these droplets of water are because of the water vapor present in the atmospheric air. When this water vapor touches the cooler parts of the glass, it condenses to form liquid water. So this liquid water appears like droplets on the glass. Okay, this proves that as there is water vapor in the atmosphere. Okay, so the amount of water vapor in the air is called humidity. Okay, it is also called moisture or humidity. Its amount can be determined with the help of hydrometer. So the instrument used for the measuring of quantity of water vapor in the air. The instrument used to measure humidity in a place is called hydrometer. So hydrometer is used for measuring humidity. So as this water vapor varies from one place to another place based upon the place conditions, this water vapor content or humidity will be changed from one place to another place. For example, Mumbai is more humid than Delhi because Mumbai is near to ocean, sea. That is why their humidity will be more. Water content in the air will be more, so humidity is more in that area. Where Delhi is not near to any water bodies like oceans or dissolved, so their humidity will be less. Okay, in this way, this humidity will be varying from one place to another place based upon the conditions in that area. The humidity also varies from time to time according to the climate. Yes, even not only place to place, even time to time also in a particular place it may vary based upon the climate. The air has more water vapor during rainy season than in the winter season. Yes, in the winter this humidity may be less, but in the rainy season and in the summer season there will be more water vapor or more humidity in the atmospheric air because more water will be evaporated during summer and more water will be drizzled through the rain in the rainy season. So because of this, there will be more humidity in the rainy season, whereas in the winter there will be less. Water vapor in the air condenses continuously to form small drops of water. These droplets join together and grow in size. Finally, they come to the earth. Yes, what happens? The water vapor in the air condenses continuously. but when it is occurring rapidly because of coolness, these droplets join together and grow in size. So when they become bigger and bigger, the atmospheric air cannot hold them further in the air. Then they will come down to the earth. So this whole process is known as precipitation. So this precipitation might be rain or drizzling or formation of snow, and even sometimes hailstone also will be fallen. So these all are the different forms of precipitation. In this all, water vapor present in the air condensed and forming some droplets of water and reaching the earth. So that's why you can say these all are the different forms of precipitation. Okay. Next, noble gases. A group of gases which do not react chemically with any substance are called noble gases or inert gases. So there are a group of gases which do not with any chemical substances, and even they do not react themselves also. Those gases are called noble gases. For example, helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. These gases are called noble gases. Their percentage in the atmospheric air is around 0.9 to 0.94 percentage. So these gases were discovered by Lord Rayleigh and Sir William Ramsay. So these two scientists they have discovered these noble gases in the 19th century. Okay, so what are the uses of these noble gases? We are telling these won't react with any other chemicals and even they won't react themselves also. Then what is the use of these gases? Yes, there are some uses. One of them is in balloons and airships. So one of these noble gases is helium. It is one of the lightest gases. Next to hydrogen, the lightest gas is helium only. So helium is the second lightest gas we can say. Being lighter than air, it is used to fill modern balloons and airships. So it is safer than hydrogen as it does not burn. So actually these balloons and airships can be filled with hydrogen also, which is the lightest gas. But hydrogen having one problem, that is it can catch fire. It is a explosive gas. It may catch fire in the presence of sparks. Okay, at certain conditions hydrogen may explode in the atmospheric air. That's why it is not safe to use hydrogen in filling these balloons and airships. So next to hydrogen, the lightest gas is helium. So it is a safer than hydrogen because it won't burn, because it is least reactive gas. That's why it is used in the filling of balloons and airships. Okay, that's a major important use of helium gas. Not only that, in filling of electrical bulbs also they use noble gases. Argon and xenon are used in electrical lamps. Lighthouses often use xenon bulbs which produce an intense blue white light. Argon is mixed with nitrogen is used in ordinary electrical bulbs. In these bulbs they use argon mixed with nitrogen. The inert mixture makes the tungsten filament inside the bulb last longer. So what happens? So if you use normal air in this, when electricity is passed, this filament will become red. It will become very hot. So at that condition, that may react with the air present inside the bulb and it might be rusted immediately. It may be spoiled in few days itself. That is why instead of filling this bulb with the normal gases, they fill this with noble gases like nitrogen and argon. So they won't react with the tungsten. That's why it will be lasted longer. Okay, that's the use of argon gas. Argon is used in filling of electrical bulbs. Next, in medicines also they use. Radon is used in the treatment for cancer because it's a radioactive element. Radon used in treatment of cancer. In the advertisement sign bulbs also, a brilliant red-orange light is produced when an electric current is passed through tubes containing neon at low pressure. These neon lights are used for making advertisement glow bulbs, which you see at night on big shops, hotels, and these all. Okay, isn't it? When you go to streets in the cities at the night time, we see some lights glowing in different shapes with the name signboards. So those sign names contains inside these neon and other noble gases. These will glow and give different colors. Okay, they are the different uses of noble gases. Next, other constraint is impurities. The percentage of impurities in the air is variable depending upon the location of place. In general, the air contains a large amount of impurities in industrial areas, isn't it? Where more industries are there, they produce large amount of impurities in the air. Dust particles and smoke particles are the impurities present in the air. An excessive amount of these can cause serious respiratory problems also. Yes, if the pollution is more in those area, the people living in that area may suffer from respiratory problems. So we have to control these impurities. So this is about the constraints of air. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today for latest updates on recorded videos.